Welcome to 24 Hour Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's been a lot of football on this channel with the NFL draft, trades, free agency, but now I want to get back to the basketball. For all the fans on this channel, I haven't forgotten about you as far as my basketball guys. So now I want to talk about March Madness. It's time to get into it. So we got Creighton and Princeton. It's a huge matchup. Two teams that I've been following very closely into this thing, watching their games, breaking it down, and that's what we're gonna do in this video. So let's get straight into it. How has Creighton been doing this? Because we saw in the first game, Brennan went for 30. We saw in the second game, Nembhard went for 30. What's the difference? How did Baylor defend them differently to slow down Brenner? How did Nembhard get off to such a great game? So now I want to talk about their action. What they're going to do typically, they're on that pick and roll with Brenner and Nembhard. So now we typically got, let's just say hypothetically, we got Alexander on the wing and we got Shireman in the corner. What Baylor tried to do, and it wasn't a bad defensive scheme, when they got the screen, because Nembhard was getting off to such a great game. So we got to stop him, obviously. So we're sending two. And then that corner guy, we're going to try to rotate him down to the big man just to stop off the immediate read and the obvious pass to Kalkbrenner, because that's what it would be. So then we're going, after we get that, and then once we get that rotation, take away that pass, force him to kick it to the corner. Now we're going to send that guard. We're going to send him. He has to rotate to the corner. He has to bust his tail to get to that corner. And then we're going to send the corner guy who previously rotated down to Kalkbrenner. We're going to send him to the wing. So it's kind of it's not really a late rotation, but it's going to be a hard time getting there. You got to haul to the corner. You got to haul from the corner to the paint. Then you got to haul from the paint to the wing. And then we're going to send the center. He's going to rotate back down to get back onto his man and Kalkbrenner. So now, what Nembhard did a great job of as a point guard, and what's the obvious thing you have to do against a scheme like this? He makes the first read to the corner because he's thinking a step ahead of what Baylor's trying to do, because, of course, they went through that in practice. And then now what you can do if you're that corner guy, you can either shoot it or you can kick it to the wing. And they got a lot of threes off of that wing out of that action. And then what you can also do if you don't do that, now, when we kick it back, we rotate the ball all the way back to Nembhard, and then he can get into his own shot. So it's really a lot. But let's talk about their counter out of that. If that go-to is not there, what do they do? So then they're going to set an off-ball screen for another guy. It could be Shireman or it could be Alexander. And then we're going to roll him around. And that's that lob play that we've seen a lot in that first game. We saw some in the second game, but not as much because it was defended a little differently. So either Nembhard can pass that to the off-ball screen guy, get a three, or he can pass that to the lob. And like I said, he's a footer. So even if you defend it to the best of your ability, he can still get an easy shot at the rim, can get a dunk, can get a layup, can get an and one. And then, of course, outside of that, superstars or your star players have to make star plays. Nembhard did that all night. So how and why is this such a big matchup? They're playing a 15 seed. This is not your average 15 seed. Princeton is playing great basketball. So let's get into Princeton now. What are they doing? How are they doing it? And I think the first guy, we got British Giannis, and that's what people are calling him. We got Tosan Uwoma, and he's great. Okay, he's a wing player running about 6'8", 6'9". He can handle the ball. We're going to see, and we've seen him taking the ball up the court, running the offense through him. And that's telling you kind of that next level wing, because not a lot of wings are capable of having the offense ran through them. But then we also got Langborn at point guard, and that's another guy who got off in the previous game. So what is their action? And I think their offense, due to what they've played against, it hasn't been, a ton of sets. I think sometimes we're going to get a woman in the high post and just let him take on the guy who's guarding him. And then also we have Langborn, who's going to run the pick and roll with a woman. And then usually they have Kelman sitting on that baseline being an easy lob threat. So with that happening, now I think when we get into a game against Creighton, we're going to open it up a little more, open up some more plays in the playbook. But I think going into this game that we saw against Missouri, it was tough. It was tough for Missouri because they really couldn't guard Langborn one-on-one. Uwoma didn't have the greatest game, but Langborn really caused problems. He had 22. Blake Peters had a solid game. But when they knew they couldn't guard Langborn, and it was looking bad. Kelman was getting open, easy dunks. Awoma was getting to the rim. We switched it. In Missouri, I don't think it was a good call because, when they went into the zone, when they went into the 2-3, they were already down by a significant, about 7 to 10 points. So we got into that. And Blake Peters just had a night. He had a night because he's that shooter, and he was sitting right there in that right corner waiting on the pass all game. And he got it. Every time he got it, didn't hesitate to shoot the ball. And what did this team? They shot 12 for 33 from the three-point line. So that can win you some games. That's 36%. That's a pretty solid night. And then, like I said, Langborn winning one-on-one, it wasn't really no answer. But when we get into a team, this is where we really break it down against the matchups. We get into a team versus Creighton. It's kind of going to be a little tougher because, okay, you say you got Awoma. Okay, we got Kaluma. And we can match him up athletic, long. And then we got Kalburner. Who's the answer for him? Do we want to put Awoma on him or do we want to put Kelman? I think Kelman's bulkier, bigger guy, probably going to play on Kalkbrenner, but he's not as tall. And he lacks a couple inches when compared to Kalkbrenner, so that's going to be the interesting thing. And how do they defend that action? Because we can't give up the easy threes. I think with both teams being great shooting teams, we're probably going to see a high-scoring game, honestly. But if the shot's not there, I think Creighton has a better chance of getting into an easy offense. And we could easily put Alexander, Nembhard on Langborn. And let me tell you something. It's not going to be an easy matchup. It's not going to be a lockdown. But I think they have a better chance of guarding him than Missouri's guards. And, when we talk about Langborn, how is he beating guys one-on-one? He doesn't strike you as that next-level athlete. But he's quick. He's not really the fastest guy, but he's quicker than you think. And when you look at it, he gets past you before you even know it. So now, like I said, when we talk about getting to the bottom, nitty gritty, I like both teams. I think this is a great matchup for both teams. But overall, when I think who's the winner going to be, I have to go with Creighton because it's a great Cinderella story. We love it. We love the head coach, Mitch Henderson. But I think this is the night. This is the game where it comes to the end. It's seriously looking at all of it. Creighton's been great. Princeton's been great. And we have to also, I want to give a shout out to those Ivy League teams because some of them are really good. We talk about Yale. We talk about Princeton. Some of those teams are actually really good. And they're getting ranked like 15th, 16th seeds. And they're shocking the world when they're busting brackets. So we also have to look at that. And let me know what you think. How do you think? What's the matchups? Who's defending who? How are they going to get into their action? What is going to be the money play for a Creighton, for a Princeton to really beat either of these teams? I'm interested to hear it, and I'm really interested to see it. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah.